Hello, I'm Kevin Smith. So I founded and run Boom & Partners, which is a business consultancy that is focused on working with early stage businesses. We work with everybody from I've got a good idea through to maybe a £10 million raise, and we work with those businesses, helping them to consider their strategy and what they need to do and when they need to do it, and actually helping them to do that. But a large part of that is often about raising finance. So looking at the pitch decks and the business plans and all the other things they need to do in order to get investment ready. What was interesting during lockdown was we had many businesses, even clients, well, not clients, we had many people come to us, and all of it was about help. What do I do? How do I save my business? And we spent a lot of time with people that some of them we've never heard of again, but hopefully it was useful to them and they've gone away and saved their business. But as I say, to begin with in that crisis, there were people that were focused on that, and then it quite quickly moved to adapting and pivoting. We as a business ourselves are busy during that time, but now we're very much, well, we're even busier, but we're now very much focused on working with businesses, helping them to scale, as opposed to how do I adapt and how do I save my business. I started working for banks in the city, so international banks, but then back in 1996 left and set up my own business consultancy. And it always worked with early stage businesses, but we were also doing a lot of international work, so macroeconomic government advisory work, which in many ways was complementary to what we were doing with small and medium-sized enterprises, but in many ways rather confused the issue. A couple of years ago, I took the decision to split that business, and so Boom & Partners as a business is actually only a couple of years old, albeit that I've been doing much the same thing since 1996. One of the reasons for deciding to split the business, it wasn't so much a crisis, but it was more a case of, well, we're here advising businesses on what they should be doing, but perhaps I'm not actually taking my own best advice, in that we're doing something, but it's just not quite working as well as it ought to. And therefore, what do we need to do in order to adapt ourselves? And that decision was to split the business. And it has absolutely transformed the business, because I guess there was an element of what we were doing before was kept doing the same thing and expecting a different result, whereas now we've done something different and the results are very different and very positive. I think adapting and pivoting is crucial to business. Any business at any time should constantly be looking at adapting. You always need to be looking at what's happening to your business, to competing businesses, to the sector, the economy as a whole, and adapting to make sure that you're staying sort of one step ahead of the curve. But as we've just seen with COVID, there are times when you really need to adapt very quickly or pivot very quickly, or you will die. So it's a crucial thing, and those that do it well have a good business, and those that don't exist for that long. I guess many things drive me. So I'm a mentor for a number of organisations, so not just Bays, but I'm also a mentor for Prince's Trust, and also for the UK's largest entrepreneur accelerator. So all of that is me giving something back, maybe helping people that are looking to found a business or are early stage businesses, benefiting from my experience. And by that, I don't mean that I've done everything well. I'm meaning that you've done quite a lot of things that haven't worked so well, but nevertheless they're learning experiences. And by sharing that with people, hopefully it will give them greater insights to make their business better. I just love learning new things. I love working with businesses, early stage businesses, young entrepreneurs, I guess entrepreneurs of any age. And they've all got such fantastic ideas and potential businesses. The one key element that we find is they've got much of the business idea, they're just often not quite sure how to make it happen. And that's exactly where we come in. We help them turn their, I guess, dreams into reality, but we help them to change their thoughts and their ideas into how to actually make it a practical and viable business. One of the things I'm often asked is, how do you find time to do all these things? I get involved in lots of things. I keep telling myself I'm not going to work quite so much. I'm probably still doing 70-hour weeks. Much of what I do is actually fairly flexible in when you do it. So sadly, you will find me working in the evening, you will find me working at the weekend, all those different things. So it's not a 9 to 5. I don't have to be speaking with clients directly within any certain times. And it's not at all unusual that someone will send me a pitch deck at 8 o'clock at night and saying, really sorry, this is quite urgent. Any chance you could get this back to me in the next few days? And I've got it back to them by 10 or 11 o'clock that night. Because for me, one of the benefits that we as a business can bring is that level of service and that level of making them feel that we're really in the fight with them. But one thing I hope we never do is take on too much, because as I say, it is for me very, very important that the client feels properly loved, looked after, and gets a good service. I look for people that I like, businesses that I like, businesses that I get, and businesses that I can see have a good future. So even if I can see the business has a good future, but frankly, that initial conversation with the founder makes me think this is going to be painful. We don't tend to go there. But the other thing is, we're not sector specific at all in what we do or what we don't do. But as I've said, for me, it's crucial that I get the business, and I think we fully understand it so that we can fully help. It's no benefit to them if we don't really know what they do or what they're trying to achieve. So they're the sort of things that we tend to look for when we're looking for a client. But the bottom line is, any investor invests in people in early stage, and that sort of fits quite neatly with me saying I've got to like you as a person, I've got to like your business, because that's probably a good filter for what a potential investor is going to look for as well. We don't have any particular focus, no particular focus at all, I guess, other than there is a soft focus on women in business. And the reason for that is, frankly, they get a bad deal. When it comes to raising finance, particularly from VCs, female-led businesses get something like 1 or 2% of the monies raised from VCs. And if you look at ethnic minority females, it's something like 0.1%. It's horrendous. Now, in the last 5 years, there's a lot of focus on that. So there are investment clubs or business angel groups or VCs all looking very specifically at addressing the female-led business market, because there is that obvious need. But my interest is really that when you look at the statistics, often women are much better at leading a business and managing money and the finances and being realistic than men are. Frankly, because everybody has a disposition to somehow prefer their own culture, their own people like themselves, let's say, the majority of VCs are run by white men. Therefore, there is a subconscious bias about them investing in businesses run by white men. It's a very well-proven fact. So I think it's really just me trying to do my little bit to help level that playing field. I've always enjoyed writing, and over the years I've written many articles for magazines and such things, and indeed a number of books. More and more people were saying how much they enjoyed the articles that I write about early stage businesses, and it got me thinking, well, doesn't that make sense to put it all together in one place, hence the book. So the book is entitled Startup to Scale Up, because it covers that whole piece where it does cover everybody from I've got a good idea, how do I go about setting up a business, through to I've got this business and it's growing, but I'm not quite sure how to make it scale. Quite a bit of that focus is about raising finance. So how do I value my business? How much do I need to raise? Where do I get that money from? What do I need to do in order to get that? And that again fits very well with what we as a business do. It's probably taken me 40 years to write the book because it's based on 40 years of experience in that sector. Writing the book itself was relatively easy, but but hopefully it's sort of tried to encapsulate that experience, that knowledge. I'm often asked, what are the important things? What are the top tips? When you look at why businesses fail, they fail because businesses or founders don't do enough research in the first place. They don't adapt and stay ahead of the curve. They don't manage their finances and their cash flow sufficiently. So there's those sort of areas. But in terms of the people that we deal with, the one piece of advice that I would give is, if you're looking at raising finance, do not leave it too late. The amount of time we have clients, potential clients, come to us and say, we really need to raise money, we need it in 2 months' time, it's not really going to happen. You must allow at least 6 months to raise finance, assuming you're ready, and often it takes us time to help get them ready with pitch decks and everything else that entails. But of course you might be lucky and do it sooner, but typically 6 months. And when you raise finance, you need to have a runway, so how long it is that your money will last for 12 to 18 months, because you will be wanting to raise more money 6 months before you actually need it. So if you've only raised enough money where you've got 8 months to go, then in 2 months' time you've got to start all over again. And all the time you're raising money is taking your eye off the ball of actually running your business. So the one tip is, do not leave raising finance.